Hey, and welcome to Tory Talk Tuesday. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about joy and joyfulness, um, which has actually kind of been lacking in my life recently, um, just due to not having very joyous circumstances around me. If you've seen my past videos, then you've heard a little bit about that. If this is, your first time seeing this, and you're like, okay, what on earth is going on? Let me fill you in just really quick. Really quick. Uh, to start with, I was engaged. Now I'm not. My fiance broke off our engagement, and then on that same day, my brother got in a terrible car accident that honestly should have took his life. But thanks to the grace of God, he only came away with a compound fracture and a cracked sternum. And in the midst of all that craziness, my dad wasn't there at all, which for some people was like, oh, whatever. But for me, like, my family's really close. Like, not having my dad there in the midst of this, like, terribleness, and then my mom alone at the hospital with her son in the hospital bed, and it was just a mass chaos. And some of those people would say, well, yeah, of course, with your circumstance right now, you wouldn't have joy. It's not a joyful circumstance. But the thing is, I don't believe our joy is supposed to be dependent on what circumstance we're in. And the Bible actually has something to say about that. In James 1, 2 through 4, which I'm actually going to read so I don't get it wrong, it says, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Now, if you catch the beginning of that, it says, count it all joy when you face trials of various kinds. So that's saying have joy in the midst of your trials, which usually trials aren't joyous circumstances. So that's a little bit of a disconnect for us because through our human lens, through my human lens, especially looking at what I'm going through, I'm like, what's there to be joyful about? It sucks. Like, it's like, what do you mean be joyful about our trials? But that's the thing. It says be joyful about your trials because of how it's going to refine you, what it's going to make you into. And that's such a beautiful thought to me that God can take such deep pain and heartache and use it for so much goodness. I mean, at the end of that verse, it says that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And it's not to say, oh, once I'm through this trial, I'm gonna be perfect. No, I wish it worked that way, and I wish once you walked through your trial, you'd be perfect too. That's not necessarily what it means. It kind of means we'll be one step closer to perfect. We'll be one step closer to being more complete, and in this way, kind of one more step closer to being more like Jesus tomorrow than we are today. And that gives me joy, the hope of like this pain and heartache isn't for nothing, not even what it'll bring in life, not even how it's going to affect others, but how it will affect me. Like it's going to shape me and mold me closer into who I am supposed to be, closer into being more like Jesus, walking towards God, getting one step closer to his presence, being in his presence. And that alone brings me joy, let alone how he's going to use it just in my life in general and while other people watch me walk through whatever that may look like. And it's the same for whatever you are walking through too. As you walk through it, you are going to be someone different on the other side, and you're going to be one step closer to perfection, one step closer to being a complete creation. And I think that is an incredible thing, and that gives me joy. There's actually a country song out right now. So if you know me, I love music. I like multiple different genres. This song happens to be in country. I apologize if you don't like country. Happens to be one of the many genres I like. And it's essentially like a love song to someone's future wife. Like they haven't met them yet, but they're saying, okay, all of this heartbreak leading up to you is worth it. And there's a particular line in the song that says, if it gets me to you, then it ain't wasted time. And that kind of hit me. I was like, that's kind of like our trials. Whatever we're going through, whatever we're facing, whatever mess we're in, if it gets us closer to God, if it gets us to be more like Jesus, then it's not wasted time. My relationship of 4 years that ended isn't wasted time. It may feel like it to me, it may look like it through human lenses, like, I'm not marrying this man. Why did you put me with him for 4 years? Because I'm getting closer to God. I'm getting closer to his presence. I'm becoming more like Jesus. And that's not to say I'm perfect, not to say I have arrived, not to say I'm going to arrive after this, but it's not wasted time. None of it's wasted time. None of your life is wasted time. Your trial isn't wasted time. It's shaping and molding you and refining you. And that is a beautiful thing. And that alone is enough to have joy. And so that is what I am clinging to in this season, is that God is going to use this not only all for his good, but also what he's going to work in me and who I will become after this, that it's going to be worth it and that the time is going to be well spent, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. Now, I also, though, don't want you guys to be deceived by this video and be like, oh, her life's great, she's doing good. Because actually, just a day or two before I had recorded this video, I was headed down my mind took me down this dark trail, and I was like, life sucks. That life sucks. And I was in this, like, woe is me kind of mentality. And the hurt's still there. Often, the hurt's still there. And it does suck, but that doesn't mean my life sucks. The circumstance is no fun, and it may be a dark circumstance, but there's still light in that circumstance. And I can choose to look at the light, or I can choose to look at the dark. When I look at the light, I have reason to have joy, and you guys have reason to have joy too. So I want you guys to focus on that, not the terrible things that are going wrong in your life. Focus on, well, I have joy because of what God is using this for, what he's going to use me for. So I hope that brings you guys a little bit of encouragement, that in the midst of my trial and in the midst of my hurt, I am learning to find joy, even though it's not always easy. And I hope you guys can learn to find joy too, because life's better that way. So that's all I have for you guys this week. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next week.